Hey there, it's Blair here at Time Trades. Thanks for joining me this weekend. Today is Sunday, June 25th, and this is your weekly video. Okay, so we got a very nice update on our market geometry that was forecast last week. We've got this big green bullish beach ball that we're tracking here. And we also have these angles coming down from the middle of the beach ball. And we can see how price respected those angles here in the past week of trading, which was kind of confirmation of the symmetry that we're seeing here. So if we look over on the other side, we can see that back in early 2022, when this bigger move down started, we can see that price sliced through this 33-degree angle almost to the 37-degree angle before retracing. And we can kind of start to see the same move developing, but in reverse. We see price slicing through the 37-degree angle on the way up, tagging the 30-degree angle. And the next move down, as we explained last week, is we believe it's underway now. And we expect to see some sort of move down that either tags the 37-degree or comes close to it. So that is what this target box here is. This is the green target box down in this area between 13,800 and 12,900. If we go there in the next week or 10 days, it will probably feel like a near panic to a lot of participants. That being said, I look at this as a buying opportunity because we still have not completed the geometry here in this big beach ball. The end of the beach ball is over here in late July, July 31st. And that explains why we have this target box up here in this area that kind of mirrors the all-time high that was achieved at the start of the ball. There's a few other reasons that I'll get into about why we expect to move up starting in the first half of July. And when we flip over to time trades. But for now, what I want to do is maybe refine this target a little bit. And what I want to do is kind of take into account some of the areas of support and resistance that are on the price chart over here. So we can see as we zoom in here that we've got a gap. This is a contract change gap. And we also have, some support levels over here at like 14,300 and resistance over at 14,625. So I'm going to just display kind of an initial target box here that is based on these levels. And if this target gets hit, then the next target will become this lower target box here, which is based on some pretty significant levels dating all the way back to January 2022. And we can see here how even if we get close to this 37-degree line that's coming down from the center of the ball, we can see how that would complete the symmetry that we saw back in 2022. All right, so a few other things I want to show on TradingView here. Let's turn on Gann Fans because that will again give confirmation that hey, is this a reasonable target or not? So with Gann Fans on, I've anchored a Gann Fan over here to the highest close that was back on Thursday, June 15th. Okay, and this is set at the standard squared angle or aspect ratio of NQ. And we can see the 1x1 coming down here, and we can see other Gann Fans coming up from the January low. So anything above the 1x1 up is in a bullish configuration. You can see how far above we are from this 1x1 up. We can easily retrace 10% here and still be in an overall bullish configuration for the markets. So what I'm testing as I add this Gann fan is I want to check to see, you know, do these fans actually intersect our target boxes? And for the first target box, yes, we've got like 3 fans here intersecting that target box, the 1x3, 1x4, and 1x8. The steeper, the more aggressive target 2, is intersected by the 1x8. The other thing that we can see here is where those Gann fans cross. And this is also important because we know that there tends to be big moves when the fans cross. So this gives us another set of crosses, and you can, you know, replicate this on your own chart and track those Gann fan crosses. I think the next one that's coming up is going to be on Monday the 26th. We've got a Gann fan cross here. So between the 26th and the 27th. There's also some very interesting astro happening this coming week. We've got Mars squaring out Uranus, and we also have a number of very long spiral calendar cycles that Chris Carolyn has been tweeting that land on Monday. So those are anchored to 1929 and 1987 tops. So some very significant price cycles are landing on Monday. So we're going to be watching for price action then as well. And of course, there's a ton of news coming out of Russia. I'm not going to comment on that. You can stay up to date on news using whatever method you prefer. But certainly what's happening in Russia can act as a catalyst. And we certainly have some of the astro events in place that indicate that with a news catalyst, there's the potential for a move down here into one of these 2 target boxes. So we'll see what happens and how that plays out. Okay, so that's the Gann fans. Let's go and take a look at time trades. I want to share with you some of the reasons why I think why I am bullish starting mid-July. Okay, so as mentioned, we're still well above this 1x1 angle going up. Very bullish configuration overall. We can have a healthy pullback here of 5 to 10% and still be in a longer term bullish mode. So one of the things that I notice on time trades is we can bring up the juice indicator, and the juice, as I mentioned before, is an indicator of planetary alignment. And we have a juice spike coming up July 10th and 11th, and this one actually involves Earth as one of the planets. So this is one of the reasons why I want to be long prior to the 10th and 11th. Okay, so we see this little low here in the juice indicator, indicating there's very few planets in alignment, and also the alignments that do exist are quite loose, so they're not exactly straight. So what we see here is a match with the probability of a pivot. Right now, based on the broader astro and price and Gann fan configuration, I'm interpreting this probability of a pivot to be a low here in the first week of July, and then we start to see the probability of a pivot go down. We see the juice indicator go up, probability of move going up. So I'm interpreting this move up here into late July. That lines up nicely with the end of our big green bullish beach ball. So this is how I interpreted things last week. There's no change to that interpretation. That's on NDX. We can go and look at SPX as well. and take a look at the same thing. With SPX, we get the bonus of the mass pressure index. So we can see mass pressure indexes. I'm just going to turn off the juice so you can see that a little easier. Mass pressure index is a composite of price from 10, 20, and 60 years ago. So it's pulling in the Jupiter and Saturn synodic cycle. And we can see here how we see a low in that composite weekly bar occurring this coming week. So this indicates some further downside. We also saw a red week last week in the mass pressure index, and we got a red week in reality as well. So the mass pressure index is showing some good alignment with recent price action. Okay, so that's SPX. We can take a quick look at QQQ. It's not totally different from anything else I've been talking about here. The Q's well above this white magic level, got increasing probabilities of a move coming into the end of July, and increased probabilities of a pivot here, although not super high, about 20-odd%. So we'll see what happens there. This looks really interesting over here. We've got some very high probabilities of pivots in mid-August. So we will see, we will make some interpretations of what that could be as we get closer to the time. It could be a pivot high or a pivot low. So we'll see how that goes based on price action. Okay, let's take a quick look at gold here. Gold, for gold, we've got Gann Fans on. So one of the things I always encourage new time trades users to start with is start with Gann Fans. So what I'm going to do is just sort of walk through that on gold so you can see how to square the chart and take advantage of the Gann Fan feature, which I think is very powerful and probably the easiest and simplest way to stay on the right side of the market. So when you turn on Gann Fans, you're going to see a mess of lines. This is a feature, it's not a bug. What you're trying to do here is you want to grab and drag the price axis so that these lines intersect important candles on the price chart. So what I'm looking for is usually a 1-by-1 that intersects a gap. So we've got a big gap here on, let's zoom in. We've got a big gap here on March 10th, March 13th, okay? And what I want to see is I want to see the 1-by-1 lines, as many as possible going through these gaps. So we've got this 1-by-1 coming down from the top here, February 1st, going through the gap. Okay, that's what I want to see. Now, what about some other 1-by-1s? We've got a Gann Fan anchored over here, it looks like, November 3rd. We've got this 1-by-1, it's just touching there. So that is a good alignment. We also have this 1-by-2 up from the low on November 3rd, going right through that gap. That's exactly what we want to see. And we also see this 1-by-1 here going up here. So I like the way this is configured right now. So this is telling us that we've got some good Gann Fan support for gold price right here. We're sitting on top of a very old fan. This is a 2-by-1 up from zero in October of 2016. So this is one of the cool features of the Gann Fan implementation in time trades, is that we track all of these old pivots, and some of these old and forgotten points on charts can be easily displayed on your chart. So we can see these hidden support and resistance levels. So we've got this old 2-by-1 up from zero, and the next one below it is 2-by-1 up from the low on February 24th, 2023. So there's some pretty good support here underneath gold. We see a pivot coming up August 1st. We see some reasonable probabilities of a move. So it, I think overall interpreting this, I'd be bullish as long as gold stays above these fan levels, right? Into these dates of major pivots. But just make sure there's a pretty good risk reward here. You can have a pretty close stop just underneath these price levels. Given the configuration of the Gann fans, it does look like we've got an opportunity to get a good risk reward trade in place on gold. Okay, let's take a quick look at UNG. So this is natural gas. Natural gas has been flirting with this magic level, this white magic level here. It's 6.89. Had a big day on Friday as it pushed up. We see an increasing probability of a pivot heading into late July, and certainly the temperature being very hot in the southern US is also contributing to gas usage. So this does look like it's in a bullish configuration here as we head up into later on in July. Let's see if the weather keeps cooperating here. We may be able to get a bit more bullish momentum here on UNG. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin had a huge week last week, moving up from about 25 into the low 30s. We can see here there's a mass of high probability moves coming up later in the summer. So let's take a look at our Gann fans here and see what we can see on Bitcoin. So we can again drag this into a position where these Gann fans intersect price really well. So what I'm looking at here is the Gann fan starting from November 21st, that low over at 15,000. And I'm trying to get it in a spot where, let's see, I like this hit. This is a good hit here on price. Let's just confirm that we've got some other good hits on price. And yeah, we can see how these fans here are in a good spot, acting as resistance over here in July of 2022. So we can run with this. What we're seeing here is a number of fans are crossing this coming week. So we've got Gann fan crosses June 26th, 27th, and also 28th, 29th. Now there's been a real decoupling of crypto from stocks. They used to trade in sync, not so much anymore. What I would suggest doing here is maybe getting Bitcoin set up on TradingView and anchoring a Gann fan back to this June 15th low. You can use the Gann fan tool in TradingView to do that. And then use that as your price measurement tool. What we're seeing here with respect to moves is a declining probability of moves and a slight increase in the probability of a pivot around June 29th. It looks like June 29th sort of lines up to being right after three different crosses of Gann fans. So what I would do here is establish just a support and resistance level on June 29th and kind of let price dictate the direction, right? There's no need to predict the direction. But if you establish some support resistance levels around this June 29th pivot, you can let price sort of declare the direction that it wants to go and trade in that direction. So that'd be my take on Bitcoin. Now, one of the things I want to share with everyone is a new feature that is on the influencers page. And this is for time trades customers that have an annual subscription. So if we go to influencers, there's a new button here called export. So this lets you export all of the information here on this influencers page to a CSV file. So the information that's here on this influencers page right now is only the top 100 events out of a total of 2,200. However, certainly especially if you're Astro fluent, you will want to do some research on these events to find out what are the most important influencers over pivots and moves. So these are not determined by me. These are determined by the machine learning that runs every night. So the new feature is the ability to export the complete list to a CSV file, and then you can drop it into your favorite spreadsheet tool. I don't have Excel installed on this, but I do have the Apple equivalent, this thing called Numbers. So what you're looking at here is the CSV file that's generated for NDX. And now you can do very interesting things like sort and filter. Like we just had sun. The sun is now in Cancer, so we can do things. If you're curious about how sun in Cancer performs, you can filter on that, right? So let's look for sun Cancer. Sun. No. Oh, that's because I'm filtering on values. That is why. No wonder. Okay, let's filter on actual feature names. Quick filter. Sun Cancer. All right, so we're gonna select these, and oh, why are we not getting that? Do I have to clear the filter here? Probably. Yes, we want to get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so now we can see that the sun in Cancer is not important at all. Remember, these are ranks, so the higher number is worse. So the lower number is better. It's just like golf. So when it comes to NDX, sun in Cancer has an influence of 11. So this is 11 out of 100. So it's like it's pretty influential when it comes to moves. So we can expect big moves, but we also have it broken down by decans as well. So the first decan is unimportant. The second decan is more important when it comes to sun Cancer moves, and the third decan is even more important. So we're going to be seeing increasing probabilities of a move as the sun progresses through Cancer. So this is just one way that you can use this information to get some more deeper understanding of how the machine learning is generating its forecasts, and also you can use this to sort of increase the confidence you have in your own forecast. Okay, so I wanted to share that. And we'll close things out with a quick look at the Nifty, and then we'll end today's video. So let's go and take a look at NSE in, we'll go to the chart, we'll look at NSEI. All right, now the Nifty is just, comfortably moving up this Gann fan. This is one of the reasons why I always recommend to start with Gann fans in time trades. We can see how it's getting compressed a little bit between the fan on the bottom and the magic level up here at like 18,940. So it's still moving along pretty well. However, we do see an increasing probability of moves. We don't know which way this is going to break. I think if you're long from a risk management perspective, it might be a good idea just to put a stop just underneath this Gann fan here, because one of the things that you can see is that you know you've got the Gann Fans in the right place when you see some gaps around it, right? And we can see back here, March 9th, we had a gap as we dropped down and dropped down and to the next magic level down here, and then price recovered. So if you're long, that's fine. You may want to just protect your profits with a stop close to this Gann fan here. Okay, that's it for me. I hope you had a great week trading. Good luck this week. Trade safe, manage risk, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.